Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild event planner. I am Guardian Namek, Guild Leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the Tower of Doom. We are using yellow this week. And after running some numbers, here are the units you want to use. This is the team I plan on using. Everybody should be using the Doom Claymore, as it does give you double the points for this event. I am also then using the Category King, as they do good damage and then creates a bunch of wild cards which tend to feed back to him and just keep charging him up over and over and over again. I'm also going to start off by using Bolt Taurus, as he does scatter damage boosted by his life. And then I'm going to have the Astrotar, which gives life and magic, doubled if Centaur. I'm going to try and buff up Bolt Taurus so that way he gets to do more scatter damage. I, however, may end up replacing the last two, as Bolt Taurus shares the same mana as the Category King, so he just might never get used. If I do so, I'll probably replace them with the Zebratar, as they are journey character, dealing damage and creating 10 yellow, or the Herd Master, as they explode 17 yellow gems. Or I could potentially use Artema, as she is some good damage. I don't plan on using her, as I think the Category King should be good enough on the damage department, but she is useful as well for exploding a row. If you're looking for some other options, here are some other good troops to use. Now for some damage and for some mana in-house in Nexus, while we are theoretically in Nexus, even if we aren't really using much from it. Both the Immortals get to do some decent damage. They both do true damage, which really helps with your damage output. You can also use the new Glory unit for the week, the Corrupted Cycad, as they do scatter damage, boosted by poison gems, and then they jumble the team. That's minor thing. The big thing is they convert 4 green to poison gems, which means their next cast will do nearly double the damage as it did before, and doing it consistently enough should allow it to do some good damage. And then for some mana, Shale gets to make 1 mana gem into an elemental star, which doesn't seem too much, but the elemental stars are incredibly more efficient than just normal mana, as they give a lot of mana in general just from it being destroyed, but then also destroys all gems in a cross shape, which means more mana. Now another good damage unit, damage and mana, as it's a nice combo, is going to be Zephyros, as he gets to do some scatter damage boosted by yellow gems destroyed as he destroys a column. And he also has a yellow mana link, which is very useful for this week. I always forget about the Orrery being in Divian Fields, as it is not a centaur, and I mostly associate Divian Fields with centaurs. But they get to do some good damage, as well as they can destroy a row and column and then do a good amount of AoE damage, which helps tear down enemies fairly quickly. And as per usual, whenever she can be used, Vana Solmorn has returned. She always seems to return, as she is a very solid damage character. Not the best, but solidly above average. And she gets to do some good AoE damage boosted by blessed allies, and she can bless on 4 and 5 ways. And then also she can summon a Silver Necropolis troop as a meat shield if your main one has died. Now some other options for mana generation are going to be like the Researcher, as they get to armor up your allies and then explode gems boosted by bomb gems. However, while they are fairly effective at exploding the board, they do require a bomb team. which means pretty much you'll need to use an Adana team, ones that create bombs when they do their stuff, as otherwise the researcher is not going to be doing very much. But with bombs, she can be very effective. The Lapina Explorer gets to destroy a row and a column. It's a very convenient amount of mana generation, as it's just nice amount of 15 gems destroyed. Fairly effective. You get to cover the mana cost, and you get to do a little bit of damage. It's not super noteworthy, but it's a very solid cycler where you get to use, and it helps charge up the next team. The Sapphire Knight is also a good unit to use, as with most of the Templar-esque characters. You get to convert a gem color to another, in this case blue to yellow, and then armor up your allies. Just nice and simple, but the key thing is blue to yellow means you get to charge up your entire team with just this ability, assuming you have good matches on the board. Unog is the odd child of the mana generation group, as she requires 20 mana to start, but she gets to give life and attack to an ally, boosted by Fairy Fire Gems, which she gets to make a good bit just by existing. And then she, more importantly, destroys 2 random rows and columns, which is a lot of mana. It's roughly like 28 points of mana. And then on top of that, you're giving someone roughly 50 life and attack, assuming there's a lot of Fairy Fire Gems on the field. So she is very reliable for mana generation and just buffing up a Skullbuster. But if you're not doing skulls too much, she's not going to be so much extra useful, but the mana generation is still fairly solid. I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players of Gems of War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.